Welcome back. I'm Miranda Kahn. Search crews and NTSB are on the scene of a deadly train crash in Pennsylvania. Officials are bringing equipment to the scene of last night's Amtrak accident. More than 200 passengers and crew members were on board that train when it derailed, killing 6 people. Investigators say they're still not sure what caused the cars to derail. And the Archbishop of New York, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, says the White House has its priorities wrong when it comes to Christianity. Cardinal Dolan says the U.S. government is more concerned about gay rights than it is about Christians who are being persecuted in the Middle East. And former House Speaker Newt Gingrich doesn't appear to be a big fan of New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. In fact, he says the mayor represents, quote, the unteachable wing of American politics. Gingrich says New York City has seen a 10% increase in its murder rate, yet criticizes the mayor for not adding more police officers to his force. And former Florida Governor Jeb Bush says he'll opt out of the August 8th Iowa straw poll and instead attend a red state gathering in Georgia. Although Bush hasn't said officially whether or not he's running for president, a recent Quinnipiac survey shows he's in 7th place behind other Republicans. Toyota and Nissan recall more than 6 million cars because the airbags could explode. Takata Corporation made those airbags. Toyota says the recall affects nearly 35 different car models, all manufactured between the years 2003 and 2007. Nissan's callback is for cars made between 2004 and 2008.
All right, Miranda, thanks a lot. Let's turn our attention now to the issue of free speech. Of course, the Texas cartoon attack is still drawing sharp reaction, but the story, of course, is much bigger than that now. And did you hear about what happened recently on the campus of LSU? And joining us now is the host of Tim Constantine's Capitol Hill Show. Of course, it's Tim Constantine. Tim, great to talk to you again.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
That's our pleasure. So this week in Baton Rouge, there was a big issue on the campus. There was a scheduled flag-burning protest. We have some video of that, but according to the Associated Press, LSU graduate student Benjamin Haas had originally planned to burn an American flag on Wednesday now to promote the First Amendment and to support an LSU student who was arrested last week for stealing and burning a flag. When the Haas finally arrived to a chaotic scene, which you see right here, he was surrounded by a large crowd yelling obscenities and chanting, USA, USA, and go to hell, hippie. Go to hell. Water balloons were thrown at this guy. I wanted to ask you, Tim, because as we talk about a defense of the Constitution and the First Amendment, what do you think this says about the current state of free speech in this country?
Well, you know, it's interesting because maybe 20 years ago, there was a movement on to try to burn American flags. There was an attempt to make an amendment to the Constitution to illegalize that. It was a very passionate thing. And what I found was, for me anyway, and I know no politician running for office could ever say that you have the right to burn the American flag. But for me, it is part of that freedom of expression. It is very offensive. But if I say, I don't like your hair, that's offensive too. You are allowed under free speech to say things that are offensive. I think the fact that that kid is choosing to do that tells us something about the kid, but that angry mob around him chanting USA tells us the vast majority of people still have patriotic feelings, still appreciate and respect that flag.
Now, we appreciate that, of course. I think you and I would both side with the patriots here on this case, and we wouldn't be burning any flags. But shouldn't we also be defending both groups' rights to, one, burn the flag and also yell at the other group for burning the flag? Shouldn't both of these protests, as it were, be allowed to take place in the same space?
Civil discussion. You know, yell can escalate into something else. I think you want to be a little careful there. But yes, there is a right for them to protest. There is a right, in my opinion, for that young man, offensive as it may be, to burn that flag.
Yeah, and hats off to the mounted police there who were there in case anything did get out of hand. Interesting for the discussion, because we want to move on to your column in the Washington Times, which focuses on political correctness causing obesity in children. Explain to us how this is happening.
Well, you know, there's some irony here because at the time that Michelle Obama, and God bless, the first ladies always have some politically correct issue that no one can take issue with, although once in a while someone does. But Michelle Obama has been pushing an agenda for healthier kids. Great agenda. She pushes salad, she pushes kale, they try to take brownies out of school. You can argue whether or not kids should learn to eat sweets in moderation. But the bigger issue is the competing agenda. My son, I have an 11-year-old son, and he came home from school recently and was complaining about gym class And I said, that's strange. Gym class was always my favorite. And he explained to me that in their class, and I found upon research that this is true all over the country, is they're using a pencil more than a ball now. They are learning about the importance of exercise rather than actually practicing exercise.
And you think that's the result of Michelle Obama's initiative?
No. I'm saying those two are competing agendas. You have Michelle Obama on one hand trying to make healthier kids by making them make better eating choices, but the other part of that is these kids need to exercise, they need to get out. If they're not at home, if they are plopped down playing video games at home, the whole idea of having gym class, at least in my mind and when you and I were growing up, was you went and you ran around for 45 minutes.
Enough.
It was good exercise for kids.
Tim,
they're not doing that now.
We got to run, but we'll pick it up. We'll pick up the conversation on the other side of the commercial break here. Tim Constantine coming back.